first health assessment exam this Friday, and our instructor barely gave us our study guide. Well, not really like, you know, a study guide, but what he thinks that's going to be on the exam, just because, you know, he hasn't done it yet. So he did end up emailing us the study guide Sunday night, and somebody from our class, you know, was generous enough, you know, to share their study guide of, like, you know, from the class. I can't really say it's their study guide because they ended up filling out the questions that our instructor gave us. And as you guys can see here, they did use color. I did print color, and I know a lot of people will probably be like, you're wasting so much ink. Yes, you guys, I do. Nursing school, you waste so much ink. Like, I'm on my second ink thing because you waste so much paper in nursing school. But also, you know, it makes sense because I am just not a digital type of person. I've tried it and it just has not worked so far. Like, I need books. I've noticed that I need my books with me, that I just can't do ebooks. So if any of you guys were wondering how it's been with trying to go paperless, like, it's impossible. I try to do it for pharmacology, like not print out my PowerPoints, but you know, it just did not work for this class. So it might work for one class where you can just, you know, try to be paperless for that class, but for another class it might be quite different. So as you guys can see here, she did end up filling it out, and I'm guessing she just basically copied whatever was on the book, and that's what I have been doing. I've been reading the textbook, trying to do my own notes, which I'll show you guys right now. But this is, you know, part of the study guide that our instructor gave us, and as you guys can see, it's so much information that you have to know for this class. And I'm going to be, you know, reviewing this also too, because she has like so much, you know, like information and stuff like that. But I feel like it's also from the textbook, which also makes sense. Some people were telling me that they were just gonna go off of the study guide, but I was just like, I just cannot do that. Like, I know it's like, this was like around 16 pages, if any of you guys were wondering how long it was. And she was missing some questions, as you guys can see here. She was missing all of this and majority of all these questions. So this study guide would have probably been like around like 25 pages. And then, you know, the good thing is she ended up, you know, putting some useful information that was going to be on the exam, which, you know, was a good thing. So that is the study guide that our instructor gave us. I do attend SI. Like, I don't really talk so much to you guys about this class, but I do attend SI, and our SI leader is amazing. She gives us, you know, 10-question quiz. And she goes over it, and then she does Kahoot, which, you know, is helpful. But I really like how she does these type of quizzes, just because, you know, like, these are the type of questions that you will be, like, I can't really say like these are the exact same questions that you'll be seeing on the exam, but you know, they're similar and stuff like that. So as you guys can see here, this one was my first one, and this was basically on vital signs, which we haven't even gone over, you guys, but they expect you to know it, if that makes sense. I feel like we'll be getting more into vital signs and stuff like that when I'll be taking fundamentals. But for any of you guys that don't have health assessment, you'll probably be seeing all of this information in your fundamentals class. So yeah, how I said, I just do this and then I highlight. As you guys can see, like, what is the question really asking you? Like, for this one, this is question 7. How do nurses assess patients' pain? So what is it asking you? I just highlight patient's pain, because I feel like sometimes the question will throw you off. I don't think there was a question where, like, it tries to throw you off. Like, these one, like, it's just, you know, a lot of little things. Sometimes that questions try to throw you off and stuff like that. So if you guys were wondering, these quizzes do help a lot, so I'll be starting off of that. And then let me show you guys my PowerPoints. They're simple. Like, this class, you guys, it's just like, I have like no notes. I'm just gonna be honest, you guys. Like, I do pay attention. I do, you know, write down some notes, like, you know, whatever he goes over and stuff like that. But like, some people will probably tell me, oh, you were just wasting paper, because there's like nothing. That's how it is for this class. Like, it's just really like broad and stuff like that. It's not like pharmacology where you just like, like it's more into depth. This one is just like super broad. The lecture is super broad. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Like lectures are just really broad for this class, and like half of the time, like I just do not find it interesting. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Like I just do not find it interesting at all. Like I'm just like, you know, showing you guys like my notes and stuff. That's how it is for PowerPoints. I have another lecture review. I'm gonna show you guys, like, this was like a mock exam that they gave us. Our SI leader, she was amazing, you guys, for like, you know, setting this up. It was 33 questions, and then as you guys know, with my highlighter, like I highlight what it's asking, if that makes sense. I feel like it makes everything so much easier, and it's something that I've been, you know, noticing for this class, that I have to highlight in order to like know like what is it really asking, if that makes sense. Because half of the time, like, we read the whole question and then we're like, whoa, what is it really asking? So like for this question, the nurse is percussing the area over the client's lungs and hears a loud, low pitched hollow sound. The nurse documents this finding as which of the following. So as you guys can know, some of us can be like, oh, well, it's percussing the client's lungs, and it hears this sound or whatever, and then you just go down and you're like, well, flatness has no sounds, Tiffany is like abdomen gas, and then dullness is over the organs. So you just check off what you think is not the answer, and if you're in between two answers, then, you know, I would just pick whichever one your gut feeling is telling you, if that makes sense. That's how it was, you know, for when I took my pharmacology exam. But for this class, like as you guys can see here, I basically highlighted everything, and if they were talking about it, I would write it down, and stuff like that. And, you know, I would jot things down, like we have to know our definitions for the pains and stuff like that. And this is how it basically was, you know, for this class. For any of you guys were wondering, here's the other, which I have already showed you guys. But here's my breakfast, if you guys were wondering. So, you know, I'm getting a lot of food in. It's like a dairy-free order, like how I told you guys. Some variety of fruits and granola, just because, you know, I just wanted something to help with my metabolism and stuff like that. So as you guys can see here, this is how I highlight my textbook. So as you guys can see here, I read and then I highlight, if that makes sense. So I just highlight, you know, like the definitions, and then for my notes, like I just write down if there's examples and stuff like that. I still haven't, you know, reviewed my PowerPoints and stuff like that. Like how I said, like my PowerPoints are just really broad. Like there's not really that much information. I feel like the book has more information. And I know some people will be like, well, don't study off the book, study off the PowerPoints, it'll be so much easier. But as you guys saw my PowerPoints, that they weren't really so in depth. It was just like, you basically had to know it. You had basically like have to know the information. But for me, like that's not what works for me. Like I like to see examples. I like to see, like, you know, the definition questions, like what do they mean? And I feel like it ends up making that certain subject more easier for me to understand, versus just, you know, looking at the PowerPoints and then being like, well, what is that? Like, is there an example for that? And the book does provide, you know, examples, and it's something that I really do like. As you guys can see here, I'm going to be reviewing chapters 4, 5, 6 today, and then whatever other chapters I can review. My review date is on Thursday, and the good thing is that I do not have pharmacology class, so, you know, I'll be reviewing for this class, doing a ton of practice questions, basically more prep you questions, because I've noticed that this one does not have this book does not have, you know, the end of the chapter questions. It's mostly more, you know, like, you know, the summary and reference points. So I'm going to be doing a ton of prep you questions for this, and I know some people were telling me that it can affect your prep you score, but, like, you know, that doesn't really matter. I feel like doing a ton of practice questions for this class will help me, because you know, it goes more into depth on what was reviewed in the book. So that's how I'm going to be studying for this class. Let me show you guys my planner, just because I showed you guys this in like a previous vlog when I did a plan with me video. So as you guys can see here, I do a note sheet of like everything that's due. Like one thing I've noticed is whatever they ended up putting on the syllabus, like some of it is true and some of it it's like not even true, because it doesn't include the assignments that are due that week. As you can see here, there's only like 2 assignments that could be due first on Sundays. And I did end up writing down like what chapters I was supposed to be reviewing, but as you guys can see here, I slacked off yesterday, so I have to review basically all of these chapters today so I can finish the rest of the chapters on Wednesday. So like how I said, I have these little plan with these little sheets that I incorporated into my planner, and I write down whatever is due this week for each class. As you guys can see here, I write down whatever is due that Sunday and stuff like that. So as you guys can see here, we have 2 prep U's due this Sunday, and we also have an SBAR due this Sunday. We have a math test that we have to complete for farm, and then we have to do week 4, and then the ATI nurse logic test for our role and development class, and then this assignment, the seminar one, that I haven't even done for that class at all, just because class was canceled last week and I procrastinated, and I did end up writing down online lecture. And then, for the weeks, the days I'm going to be going to school, I'll write it down. Like how I said, it's not really like, like, oh, yes, I have to do this, and I have to do that. But next week, it's going to be crazy. So I have to get started on these ATI things this weekend, because we have 3 ATIs due, and those take up a lot of time. We also have like a case study, and we have a VSIM. I did my first VSIM this Sunday, and it didn't really take me so much time, but it was quite difficult to navigate and stuff like that, because like you're just suspected to know what you're supposed to be doing. And then I have my first exam for my role and development class that's going to be online, and have 2 prep U's due. So, I went ahead and wrote down what I have due for February 17th through the 23rd, just because I feel like I had so much stuff to do. But it's just mostly more for pharmacology that we have 3 ATIs due and a VSIM. So I have to get going on that this weekend. And then studying for my role in development, which is not really going to be a big deal. Just this week I have so much going on, and I do have my first exam for health assessment. For any of you guys that were wondering, that's how I've been planning it out for like the school days. Sometimes what I would do when I had like a ton of prep U's, I would tell myself I have to do a prep U starting Thursday through Sunday. So I would do a prep U on Thursday, I would do a prep U on Friday, and then I'll try to finish it on Saturday if I had 3 prep U's. For this week, I only have 2 prep U's, so I can do a prep U starting on Thursday, and then I'll be done by Friday, just in time before I go into lab on Saturday. My thorax and lung SBARs, I'll probably try to start to do them probably Friday night or Saturday, just because they take up so much time and stuff like that. It literally takes me like the majority of Sunday, just because I do procrastinate and stuff like that, and I usually like to wait until I'm done with lab and stuff like that in order for me to do it. So I'll probably be starting that Friday, if not Saturday. I'll probably start that Friday or Saturday night, since I do have something going on Saturday, since it is Valentine's Day and stuff like that. But I'm not going to be celebrating Valentine's Day until like next week, but it is my cousin's birthday on Saturday, so we are going to be celebrating his birthday and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get some stuff done, also study for this class for health assessment. You guys, it's going to be 45 questions, and we're going to have 55 minutes to do it. I'm guessing 55 minutes or 50 minutes to do it. So we basically have to know all the information, all these 11 chapters in the back of our hand, basically. And as you guys can see here, I do have like like a study routine of how I want to study and stuff like that. So it was 3 chapters a day, because I procrastinated. I would have started on Friday, but I just was not up to it. There's days where I do procrastinate, don't feel like doing anything, and you just have to tell yourself to get up and do all these exams. So right now I'm just going to eat some breakfast and basically try to convert some videos into my iPad. That's where I edit my videos, if any of you guys were wondering. And it's been, I've been procrastinating and stuff like that. But I do have a video up and ready for you guys. I just have to edit the thumbnail, post it, and stuff like that. So that's what I'll probably be doing while I eat my breakfast, before I do start getting to finish doing my notes and, studying for this class. So, yeah, so that's basically it for everything that I did want to show you guys. So like, hoping you guys really do enjoy this information. Like how I said, I always try to be, you know, helpful and like show you guys stuff. That's why I don't really like tell you guys what school I go to, just so I can, you know, show you guys like, you know, paperwork and stuff like that, just so you guys can get an idea of what nursing school is going to be like for those that are going to be starting nursing school soon. So yeah, you guys, so I'm just gonna do that, and I'll probably see you guys later on today when I'm studying, or you know, I'll just see you guys tomorrow.